A lot of people keep asking me what happened to Artie Lang. I don't know, but I thought I'd read this article to you from the Spectator USA titled, I Hope Artie Lang is okay. Artie Lang has disappeared. His gigs are canceled. His podcast is on hiatus. His social media is hardly being updated. The legendary comedian is apparently sick, but from fans suspect that something else might be going on. You needn't be Sherlock Holmes to not be suspicious about his absence. Lange has been flitting in and out of his rehab for the past 25 years. God knows I hope that Lange is sick. The comedian has emerged out of the depths of an addiction so dramatic that his nose imploded like an overripe tomato after years of snorting cocaine and heroin. According to Lange, the obliteration of his beak was the result of snorting drugs mixed with broken glass. Lange was arrested, not for the first time, and forced into rehab, after which he did community work as a trash collector and gas station employee. Somehow, he walked out not just drug free, but thinner and fitter than he had been before. Lange had not just been a prolific drug user, but an enthusiastic gambler, drinker, and eater. On the Howard Stern show, where he worked alongside Stern and his gaggle of unlovely eccentrics between 2001 and 2009, a favorite topic of conversation was how much food the obese comedian had endeavored to put away in the course of the show. Such a mammoth intake of calories and chemicals should have killed the young, robust hippopotamus. But somehow Lang had walked out of it looking trim, healthy, and happy. Was it all too good to be true? I don't know. I hope not, but with hard drugs, a redemption story only ends with a relapse or a sober death. Damn, this guy's saying Artie might be dying. Damn. In truth, Lang is a better recounter than comedian. Having said that, he is a great. What's that? Recounter? Radio was the ideal medium for him, providing an unstructured environment in which to shoot this shit and allow gold to be formed amid the daily babble. Lang grew up in a working class home in which his hero, his father, fell off a ladder and became a quadriplegic. Lang's father died of complications from the accident some years later, and the young man never recovered, as he wrote in his brilliant memoir, Too Fat to Fish. There was my hero, my toughest mother effer I would ever know, lying there lifeless. He had died sometime in the middle of the night while I was at my friend's house doing shot after shot to deal with the fact that I lost a bet on an effing college basketball game. After working as a longshoreman, Lang turned his comedic and storytelling gifts into a career. He became part of the cast of the first series of Mad TV, and having been fired after being arrested while in the middle of an enormous coke binge, was befriended by the great comedian Norm Macdonald, who got him a role in his film Dirty Work and his series The Norm Show. From there, he was hired by Howard Stern, whose controversial, irreverent radio show he had listened to with his dad many years before. By anyone's standards, Lang had extraordinary luck. On one episode of Stern, he speculated that an unsuccessful 1995 suicide attempt had in fact been successful and that he was in heaven, but somehow he couldn't handle it. Life was too burdensome and the drugs were too sweet. You suspect as well that he's surrounded by enablers. Every time he was on top, he leapt back to the bottom. His show run ended after a violent outburst, but its true nadir came before when Stern employee Sal Governale, who most listeners knew as someone the radio host had employed mostly so he could have target for daily scorn, roasted him so caustically and so intensely that the veteran comedian was left speechless. But most of the things Governale criticized Lange for were things that didn't matter. His film Beer League was a flop, and he was never a convincing character actor. Who cares? These things might have mattered to Lange, but they barely to his audience. He was great as himself, and not when he was speaking off script, but speaking off the cuff. At the risk of presenting a pizza and I don't know that word. The magic of Lange's comedy is how this demystifies addiction and unromantically explores the hedonist impulse as the faux poetic cliches. I thought that said clinches, cliches that have wafted around the lives of other famous addicts like Kurt Cobain and Pete Doherty can never match the tragic comic power of Lang explaining how he changed his boxer shorts before he attempted suicide because he thought he should at least be found in a clean underwear. All the songs and poems that have rhapsodized about the seductive allure of alcohol and drugs can never match the dark comedy of Lang hymning the virtues of chocolate milk and insisting to his assistants with ironic bombast that if he cannot do cocaine off a stripper's backside, he can at least have a real chocolate syrup and not healthier stuff. Addiction turned Lang into a chronic liar, as it does, but his storytelling was honest and unpretentious without ever wavering an anti-drug banner. I suspect, and I have no proof of this, but I do suspect that he steered many Americans away from this stuff. How Lang held a job which required him to start work at 6 a.m. every day for so long is a mystery. After he left Stern, his life became more chaotic again. He described this comically but honestly. His podcast was recorded in his lounge, he admitted, but he was late every time. Projects started and were stopped. He went in and out of rehab. His long suffering mother tried an intervention, which he claimed he assumed was a surprise party. Death seemed to have been tightening, such as a vice like grip around his neck. That is astonished and delighted everyone when he appeared to have gone straight. And yet, perhaps there is no yet. I certainly hope not. Perhaps Lang has a stomach bug. Perhaps he is playing a prank. Perhaps the poor guy's body has been through so much that has taken over a fresh challenge in the form of coronavirus. But whatever happens, nobody except his loved ones can claim to be shocked and disappointed by him. We knew exactly the kind of man we were laughing with, and all of his debts are to himself and his family. Good luck, Artie. We're rooting for you. All right, so that article. Trying to use some purposely big words, you spectator USA dude. But yeah, like I said, I don't know what's going on with Artie now. Um, I heard personally the first week he missed a drug test because he was sick, and so he canceled his gig, stayed home. But so then his drug court thing was like, all right, come take a drug test, and he missed it. So I heard they stuck him in jail only for the week until he could pass a more scrutinized drug test in jail. Then he got out. He missed that Friday gig, made the Saturday one, but this is 2 weeks ago at this point. Missed last weekend's gigs and missed this weekend's gig. So I don't know what he's doing. He's back on Cameo, but his Cameo thing switched. He used to, if you would order it, it would be that day. Last time I checked, he hasn't done a new Cameo, and now the average time is 5 days. So I don't know what's going on with Artie Lang. Hopefully he doesn't relapse. He said his podcast is starting this month, but he hasn't shot any new ones. They haven't been uploaded, nor have I heard someone say like hey, Artie Lange's in the studio shooting a podcast. And if he was in the studio shooting a podcast, I would have heard about that from someone. So I don't know what's going on with the dude. I can't believe he relapsed because he'd go to jail. So, I mean, the dude is being drugged at this. So I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.